Well, good evening, everybody. I have to apologize for being the exception this evening, the only one that speaks in English rather than in Spanish, hopefully sometime in the future. Well, I have to bring you all to talk to my wife about all what you have talked about me, because she won't believe it. I don't either. Anyway, I wanted to brief you on two very short issues. One of them is the reason why we are here. And the reason why we are here is, of course, Dr. Ingrid Persky. And there is something unique to be said about her. And that is that she identified, not here in Panama, but worldwide, a very important unmet need, and that men's health. I'm a physician by education. In medicine, we relate to women that have their own unique diseases, like breast cancer, because men don't have breast, or ovarian cancer, because men don't have ovaries, and men for having their own diseases, like prostate cancer, because women don't have prostate. But the problem is going far deeper than that. It turns out, and it took a long time for physicians to understand it or to realize it, that even in what we see as diseases that are common to both men and women, they are very different from one another. Heart diseases, for example. Women develop it much later, the disease is less severe, and so on and so forth. Different cancers, brain cancer, pancreatic cancer, colorectal cancer. Men and women are different than one another, completely. And men and women desire their own special attitude to diseases that look on the surface as common to both genders. Now, why men? Why not women? It's very interesting. Women apparently, psychologically, are much less shy than men, are coming forward to admit the problems and demand from governments, from health insurance agencies, from HMOs to take care of the problem. Think about breast cancer. Think about how much money was invested in breast cancer in the world. Billions and billions of dollars. And now we are starting to contain the disease. We are understanding it much better. We've developed very good treatments, from initially chemotherapy and radiotherapy to surgery, and now neoadjuvant, and very good treatments for breast cancer. Men somehow, from psychological reasons, hide their problems. Men always has to look strong. The machoism is acting against us. We do not admit to diseases, certainly not to diseases that have to do with sexual functions, with prostate, with erectile dysfunction, but even not to heart diseases. Why? Because we have to be strong. Why? Because we have to lead the world. Why? Because we are the ones that are making money. And this alone, decades, acted against us. And only now, and only recently, men started to understand that their health is also an issue at stake. And look what's going on. It's a woman, Ingrid, that is the ambassador of men's diseases. And not only in Panama, but worldwide. And there is a specific journal that just started, a periodical that started a few years ago, by Mariana Legato from New York, and she is running a journal on men's diseases, and she is a woman. So men didn't even have the courage or the ability to find ambassadors of their own to represent their own health. So Ingrid, on behalf of all men, which are half of the human population of the world, I salute you. But seriously, think about it. It just shows you that even physical diseases has to do a lot with our mindset. And it's really, there were some men that admitted to it, for example, what we call the Gulf General, General Schwarzkopf, who came from the first Gulf War and admitted to have prostate cancer. Or Robert Dole, the senator from the United States. But it's very rare. It's truly very rare. And it's only now, recently, that people admit that there are differences in the genders, and each gender has to be treated differently. So this is the first issue. I am the second time now in Panama. The first time was when Ingrid invited me to her the first Congress. The second time is now, and I was invited to an area that is more close to my heart, which is cancer, to a meeting that is going to take place tomorrow on Central American Caribbean cancer meeting organized by a company. And then I will be here again the third time in February to present our findings in the second meeting that Ingrid is organizing here in Spain. I'm going to submit to the Panamanian government request to become Panamanian citizen. I'm not going to give up on my Israeli citizenship, no way in the world, but third time means a lot. It's a wonderful country. The second issue that I want to address briefly has also to do with my own investigation. It was mentioned already here, is inequality in medicine. Well, people are unequal. It's clear. They are unequal in their income, poor and rich. They are unequal in their ability. They are handicapped. We are living in a very big aquarium. But one thing that me, as a physician, cannot accept is not to make the scientific achievements available to all of us. And it happened so that I grew up as a physician. I am a surgeon by training. I studied medicine in Israel, and I was trained in surgery in Israel. And at that time when but here is the but. Technology becomes much more and more expensive. And with personalized medicine, and even with gender medicine, we are going to develop drugs not only for men and women, but even within the group. We are going to fit the treatment to the patient. Until now, we develop drugs for diseases. In the future, we are going to develop drugs according to the genetic repertoire of individuals. Just today, I read in the news that Novartis is now coming with a new drug that will be limited to a very small group of leukemia patients. So we are going to sequence the DNA of people and to fit the drug exactly according to their mutation. Of course, it's not going to be a drug for Aaron Ciechanover, but it's going to be a drug for a limited group of patients that have a similar mutation to the disease that, God forbid, I may have in the future. So the drug industry is going to be even more expensive because we should need many more drugs in order to treat the different diseases that are going to be stratified according to our genetic repertoire. Saying so, I said in the same words that medicine is going to be much more expensive and therefore much less accessible to people who cannot afford it. So even governments, like the government of Israel, that decided to have what we call national health insurance that is available to every citizen in the country, we are limited. There is so much that the government can do. New technologies are coming all the time, and even in the state of Israel that has a very developed health insurance system, we cannot help everybody. But on the other hand, we cannot tell people that the life of their father or the mother, even if we can extend it by 3 or 4 or 5 weeks or months, doesn't worth it. Who am I to weigh the importance or the value of life, even if they are short and even if they are full of suffering? And for me, I think this is the major issue. And today there was a press conference in the context of the meeting that is going to be carried out tomorrow. And many of the questions were gathered around the issue of, okay, Dr. Ciechanover, you have an achievement, but are people going to enjoy it? And the answer is unfortunately not. And it's not me, and there is nobody to blame for. I'm a scientist. I'm searching for knowledge. And then it's the pharma companies and the government that have to take this knowledge, initially develop drugs, and then make it available to people. And it's an awfully complicated issue. It's not a simple issue at all. But I think that both pharmaceutical companies that are private companies that are living on earnings, nevertheless should be very attentive to the feelings and to the situation of people. And certainly governments, at the same token, should care very much about the health of their people. And when I'm talking health, it's not just hospitals and physicians and nurses. It's a whole system. It starts with education of people themselves. Because the more educated you are, the more money you are going to make. Because educated people have very better jobs. So you need to eradicate poverty, you need to eradicate illiteracy, regardless of health. Completely regardless of health. Because educated people are healthier. They are more aware of themselves, they know how to prevent diseases, they know how to listen to their own body, to go to the doctor when something is going wrong. So it's education first and foremost. But then also development of systems, encouraging NGOs. Israel is full of patients' organizations. I happen to be also the president of 2 Israeli organizations. I'm the president of the Israel Cancer Society, and I'm the president of the Israel ALS Society, with one purpose: to talk to legislators, to talk to the parliament, to talk to different organizations in order to come and respond to the needs of special patients. And governments should encourage this movement of patients' organization. And then, of course, medical education. The government has to make sure that there are enough physicians in the country. You know, having a medical school is not enough, but there are numbers. We need to have so many doctors on so many thousands of people, and so many nurses on so many thousands of people, and so many beds in hospitals on so many numbers of people, and so on and so forth. That in order to make not an ideal landscape, but to make most of our achievements in the laboratory, in science, available to the people. Because what is it that we are working on if not trying to better human life? Thank you very much.